Hi, this is your friend Neal. Hey, you know how me and Moshe are kind of morons when it comes to the technical aspect of the show? And I know what you're thinking. Doug would take care of it. We made fucked up episodes all the time when Doug was around. This episode's technically also fucked up, but it's a great episode, and you'll get used to the vocal quality. Me and Moshe are distorted. Allen Hughes, our guest, is not distorted, and he has amazing stories about Tupac and Menace to Society and Denzel Washington, and it's a great episode. So I apologize right ahead of time, but I promise you'll get used to it. Just don't listen to anything else while you're listening to this. Don't listen to a song, because when you come back to this, it's going to sound fucked up, Jack.
This week's episode, big announcement, is brought to you by TiVo. That's right, TiVo. Neal, you remember TiVo?
Shiv, do I?
Before they invented TiVo, you couldn't watch TV. If you were gone, dude, you were gone. Unless you had a big, bulky VHS situation, you were fucked, man. You couldn't see
Well, no, I mean, yeah, TiVo revolutionized, literally one of the best inventions of my lifetime. And now they've stepped their game up because you can, if you have a TiVo, one of the great things about TiVo is showing you other shows that you would want to watch, which most DVRs don't have, and they'll automatically record it for you if you want.
Right, and not only that, they got this new situation where if you've got cable, and this beats the hell out of your DVR, because if you have cable, you don't just have to go home and watch that shit in your pathetic-ass apartment. You can transfer this to your iPad, bring it to your girl's house, watch it while you're taxing that ass. You can bring the recordings anywhere with you and watch them anywhere.
You like to bang and watch Grey's Anatomy. Do you not, listener? Yeah, so you can do that. You can watch your shows from wherever you want, whenever you want, instead of having to I got it downstairs, we got to go. You watch it anywhere.
You want to watch Game of Thrones inside of an actual throne?
Which I actually would. I want this.
I want it too.
I want this.
You can watch it on an airplane. You can watch it waiting in line at the dentist's office. Whatever. Also, you can it searches cable and the web to find any movie that you want, any show, and it'll search for it. And it's got Netflix, Hulu Plus, Amazon, YouTube, all in one. This shit is actually good. I mean, I am being a corporate shill right now, but I kind of believe in it.
Yeah.
And there's a new thing too called the TiVo Mini, which is one TiVo box will work on a second TV. So from the couch to the kitchen, from the minivan to 35,000 feet. I guess that's an airplane thing. I didn't write that last part. TiVo makes TV.
It's pretty obvious when you didn't write, when you are reading and when you're saying.
Well, do you think this is natural or not? TiVo makes TV about 1,000 times better.
Okay, and here's the promo code. Fuck with these people.
Fuck with
You're going to go to TiVo.com, TiVo.com, and you can get a $25 off a new TiVo Premiere
P4
or XL for DVR if you use the promo code ATC.
For all things comedy.
ATC.
The code is set to expire on 11/1/2013. So
you'll probably be dead by then. That's in November.
If you watch as much TV as you're about to watch when you get this TiVo, you'll definitely be dead by next year. And that is a message from our sponsors.
ATC. Hey, Neal Brennan here, champs. You know what? You already know what it is. I'm doing some hip hop shit. Let's do some dates, Moshe. I'm going to be in Philly, June 13th. Johnny Brenda's Fuck With Me. Go get tickets now. Don't make me sweat this shit. Sell it out before I get there. And then 14th and 15th of June at Arlington, Virginia, at the Arlington Draft House. Fuck With Me there.
Hey, it's Moshe Kasher. I'm coming to comics at the Foxwoods Casino the weekend of the 4th, 5th, and 6th of June, and then I'll be in Chicago for the Just for Laughs Festival, the 11th, 12th, 13th. Off to London, doing a show there, but that's the Aziz show, so if you can get it, I'll be there. And I'm coming back and headlining the Improvaganza in Ottawa, Canada, on the last weekend in June. So fuck with me in all those places. Go to bluecollardistro.com/the champs to get a champs-related t-shirt. Follow us both on Twitter. Fuck with us.
Follow us. Not just follow us. Follow our guest today who's trying to get deeper into the Twitter game. Alan, go ahead and tell people what your Twitter name is.
Hughes with the number 2 Society.
Hughes to Society.
How fucking corny is that?
So not
at the same time. Sometimes some shit is so corny.
That it travels. It transcends. Wasn't Menace didn't have 2? Was it a 2?
It was a numeral.
Yeah, it was a numeral.
Roman numeral 2.
Yes, but you're going with the normal numeric 2.
Before we get into this numerical debate,
I'm a tweeting whore, and I don't even like Twitter.
Hughes to Society. At Hughes to Society.
I need some more white followers. I've been noticing.
Oh, you're about to come the fuck up.
A lot of black followers.
Yeah.
Appreciate.
No, but you want to. You're also half. You're a little bit white.
I'm going to put a stop to this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're about to be fucked with by the champs.
Now you're fucking with the champs.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Another episode of the champs. So exciting. Neal,
This is a guy that I'm legitimate. He's a new friend who. This is how far back I go with this guy. Met him in 1993. In the green room, wait for it, of the Arsenio Hall show, where he was a guest with his twin brother promoting a little picture that they directed called Menace to Society. Ladies and gentlemen, Allen Hughes is here. Allen Hughes.
Menace to Society.
Very well.
Yes, I was there with Chappelle, and Allen was there with his brother, and I believe you guys were wearing Ben Davis shirts.
What the fuck is Ben Davis?
That's 1993.
Ben Davis was it looked like the penitentiary shirt. It looked like the denim.
With the zipper in the front and the little monkey on it?
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
That is 90s in LA is what it is. Yeah. Now, Neal knows you well and has some stories he wants to get from you, but I just have to say to you in the top here is that your movie was I wonder if you know this, was responsible for more inadvertent laughter in my childhood. Like the worst parts of your movie, the most like savage parts. I grew up in Oakland.
He grew up in Oakland.
Yeah, that's a black ass city.
And just Give Me the Motherfucking Videotape became like a punchline for a group of youth. Like everybody thought that was so hilarious. And then I got a little older, I realized it's not a joke. That's a very serious scene in that film. And all these kids are like, give me the motherfucking videotape. This poor Korean family dies.
And now I have a Korean girlfriend. It's fucking odd.
Is that true?
That's hilarious.
Very strange.
And that's what you say when you
funky circle. Those.
when you fuck her. When you fuck her.
I say, hurry up and buy when she's sucking my dick.
Did you know though that was kids were laughing at these moments of savagery?
I knew when the movie came out because the same year it was very interesting what happened. Kids were skipping school to go see Menace, right? Same year, Schindler's List comes out. Schindler's List.
Speaking of Oakland,
gets very exactly
Yep.
a lot of skipping school to see those type of movies. Spielberg, there was a big thing because Spielberg and everybody was appalled that these ghetto kids were laughing.
Well, no, that was at Castlemont in Oakland, California.
Yeah,
in fact,
right,
yeah.
Right. And what he didn't understand, obviously, that you two gentlemen probably do, is that black audiences is like the black church or black funeral,
Right.
very vocal.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So especially during violence, and you see Schindler's List. Just the shit was absurd. I mean, the guy who was his name who played the Nazi,
Ray Fiennes.
Ray Fiennes, has since left us somehow.
I mean, he's still alive.
He's 5 minutes in.
Yeah, we shit. That's the first time we've shit.
You know what? Just like Menace is like he didn't know that shit on the balcony when he's his shirt off, sniping off those concentration camp.
He almost said Jews, by the way. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I hate saying Jews. I want
Say
to
why?
Jewish
people. You can't say Jews.
You cut yourself.
Yeah.
But I'm saying. So yeah, I knew. There's humor in
But you didn't know when you were making the scene, did you? I mean, it wasn't
like
meant
the
to.
Korean story one.
Yeah, I mean that wasn't a comedic scene at all. Yeah, of course not. It's a very
that we didn't know it was funny, but no.
right.
Is that what does Loren say? He said, "What'd you say about my mama?" Is that what he said?
Yeah, he said the dude said I feel sorry for your mother, and he said what?
And you did a push on him, right?
Yeah.
You just zoom. Did you do the
Did
zoom in?
a steady cam move into, which I hate steady cam shots, but we were on a minimal budget, so you got to do the steady cam. It's the lazy man's way of doing things when you can't lay track.
Right.
Track. I hate to
Some
get too technical.
Moshe, I'm sorry. This is some
This
director
is
shit.
definitely.
How did you? Now, how did?
Yeah, start one.
How did?
It's the
Yeah.
20th anniversary. That's what's tripping me out.
Oh, really?
I left on May 26th to the Whitey yoga retreat I went to.
Alan just got back from a yoga retreat in real life.
Is that what it's called? The Whitey Yoga
I call it
Retreat?
the Whitey yoga retreat because it's in the Malibu. They say Malibu, but it's actually not Malibu. In the hills, it's off the grid. There's no phones, no whatever. So I went into this place going, what kind of whitey will be here? On the 20th anniversary of Menace was ironic.
That's how far you've come.
That's how far I've
What would you tell? What would 19-year-old think of that? Of the dude checking into the yoga retreat?
You would think that's a corny move.
Because you, all right, let's go back, because I don't even know how you got Menace. How did you guys come to how did that whole thing come about?
What's funny is that meeting Chappelle at the time in our city, he was 19.
Yeah.
We had just turned 21.
Okay.
And I always liked that we were older than Dave Chappelle. I'd always judge that. No, we were 19. We got lucky and fortunate enough to start directing music videos for Tupac and NWA and stuff like that. So, but we were always trying to make movies. This was like just happened. And so,
You grew up outside LA in
Pomona.
Okay.
Originally from Detroit. So
were you guys making films in high school?
we were at 12.
Okay.
Since the advent of the home video business and every now and then there'd be a shop with a camera, and that's how it started. So then public access cable came about when we were in high school. I had 3 shows on public access.
That's hilarious.
A show just like In Living Color called something Videos. I can't remember. We had a clown, the whole shit before In Living Color. I invented that shit.
Yeah, I thought so.
They had a sketch. What do you call a comedy show? And it was popular, and somehow one thing led to another, and we were making music videos. And wanted to make this movie since we were 15 about this inner city kid. And
it was written by a guy named Tiger Williams.
Yeah, Tiger Williams.
Yeah, no, I remember, because I remember when Tiger Woods popped. I was like, wait, is that the motherfucker who wrote Menace?
That would be amazing if it was.
Tiger Williams, who was a buddy of yours, or
he was my best friend in high school. My best friend was a gangbanger, crack slinging, humorous, running back motherfucker. His brother was a writer, the square one.
Got it.
And so I had this idea, and
So that was Tiger?
Tiger Williams.
Tiger was the square one.
And Lion was the gangbanger. Is that right?
Lion.
Okay, right, okay, yeah, we're getting it.
You got it,
Yeah.
So that's it. I said I have this story. Let's go do some research. I got this guy I want to base off of and watch. We went right away. We went and did it on spec. Why does it smell like piss in this house?
Oh, I just pissed. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Great question.
That is a good question.
Great question, Alan. Next question, because we pee where we want. Go ahead.
Long story short, I
pissed.
wrote the Menace script on spec. He did. Handed it to anyone I knew in the business. Said, whoever can set this up, I'll give you producing credit. And
Who set it up?
He didn't actually set it. It's funny. There was the guy who produced Brenda's Got a Baby for us, a line producer.
Right.
The guy Darren. Why does his last name escape me? I hope he's not listening to it.
Yeah.
He gave it to someone at New Line, as our agent simultaneously gave it to someone at New Line.
Got
Here's
it.
the story. My agent, though, at the time, CA was the Mike Ovitz or whatever.
Yep.
They bought her out of a contract just to get us. She sent us over there to do Last Dragon Part 2. She said, don't bring up Menace when you go over to New Line. Don't bring it up. I didn't know why she was saying don't bring it up. She wanted us to do Last Dragon Part 2 with Bruce Leroy. And I didn't realize this woman felt like she would have blood on her hands if the movie was made.
In what way?
That kids were going to die.
Oh.
The day we went to go fire her, once the movie got picked up from the guy, Darren took credit for it, so we gave him the credit. The movie gets picked up. We're 20 years old, just turned 20. We're parking to go fire her at CA, and it's the day of the riots.
Wow.
Whoa.
And imagine
So that was your own little riot there at CAA.
nuts. Well,
You guys kept it super real.
We had
Going,
park 5 blocks.
yeah. You kept it super real. That was, you're like, you know what? We're not going to burn anything. We will fire our agent,
We're
though.
going to fire a white lady.
We're gonna riot Hollywood style.
We will.
And you know what else we're gonna do? We're gonna get a new publicist. White people don't think we won't get a new publicist. We are going all out.
We doubled back and got some condoms.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so I
You guys are really good at playing interested. I like that.
no, I know you're a fucking interesting dude, and you're
I'm
also
more interested in. I want to go back to what this woman's thought that she was going to have blood on her hands. Yeah. What did she think, that it would glorify gangster lifestyle? And then
And at the time, remember,
had Menace. Had Boys in the Hood come out.
Boys in the Hood had come out right in '91, and because remember when those type of black films came out, there were always casualties, and there was
Someone would shoot in the theater.
Someone shooting outside in the parking lot. Right. So,
I see.
She fucked up. We wouldn't have fired her the following Monday. I think the riots.
And also, she should know that if you would put out The Last Dragon Part 2, somebody would have gotten fucked up from that shit, too.
Right, they were going to kung fu fights out in the parking lot, for sure.
In Kung Fu Theater used to incite so many playground fights.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
That's actually true, yes.
It is a lot of broken.
All right, so, and then the movie comes out, and it's, so you make the movie, small budget, and then it comes out, and you must at a certain point after you shot it, like, oh, this shit's gonna work.
It's funny because my brother, before it came out, our first interview was with Variety, and we always talk shit. But he went out and said, before we were even in production, he says, Menace to Society is gonna make. I can't even talk today. Menace to Society is going to make Boys in the Hood look like Mary Poppins.
Damn.
And it was in bold.
I remember that.
Face on the front cover of Variety. I looked at him. I said, "Yo, you fucked up now." I mean, I knew we could be edgier, but I'm like,
That's
it was
crazy.
so beloved, Boys in the Hood at the time, especially by Whitey.
Yep.
Is that right?
Clear.
How did you feel about it?
I thought it was a nice after-school special. I mean, it really was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean,
Just it wrapped up too neatly and was too
it was
moral lesson.
it was moralizing. I mean, the shit with Cube was pretty real.
Cube at the time, you have to not to digress, but the genius of Boys in the Hood is Cube had left NWA maybe 6 months to a year prior, just dropped America's Most Wanted album maybe 3-4 months before that,
Right.
6 months before that movie came out. And he was the hottest thing on the planet. He was edgy, he was mysterious.
Yeah, right.
And so that was the fascination.
And but also his character was Doughboy was a good part. Like,
he was good.
He was very good, but also that shit about like they either don't know, don't show, all that shit is like that's good dialogue. Like almost every character in Menace is like that, though.
He would be the softest character in Menace,
Right.
of the guys in the hood.
Yeah,
I saw in him, in that performance of Doughboy, that someday he would be a perfect guy to drive his kids to the zoo with an inflatable.
I used to look at him and go, you know what? Guys, I think we're looking at the next spokesman for Coors Light. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Wow. I got questions. I've got some questions.
Okay, so and then okay, I got a question about Menace. The opening shot is a tribute to Watt Stacks, correct? The overhead shot?
I wish.
It's not.
I wish. Yeah. I had never seen Watch Stacks at that point.
Oh, that's interesting. It's the same shot though, right?
I don't even remember.
See Watt Stacks. If you've never seen Watt Stacks,
you see, you didn't before 10 years ago. Wasn't even out.
No. I'll tell you exactly, and this is going to be a quadruple name-droppy story.
Welcome to the Director Nerd Podcast.
Okay, there's a movie called Watt Stacks. Mike D from the Beastie Boys told me you got to see Watt Stacks. Okay, so then I see it. They released it in the theater. They released it in the theater.
What year?
99. They released it in the theater in a little theater in New York. I then take it and show it to Dave Chappelle and Hype Williams, to which Hype Williams says, "This is the blackest shit I've ever seen in my life."
What is it exactly?
It is a concert movie that Richard Pryor hosts. But he just shoots he doesn't host it on stage. He just is in a fucking pool hall in Compton.
Oh,
and it's not well lit, and it's just Pryor talking.
He's a Guinness performer.
The first time Richard Pryor, if I'm not mistaken, is performing after his nervous breakdown, his real, hardcore Pryor stuff. It's the first time that was recorded. And he was just shooting the shit with like 10 people.
Yeah. And he does a joke, how are you going to accidentally shoot a nigga 20 times in the back? Like, he just says shit like that, and it's like not even like, there's no audience. No. And then it's all the performers from the Stax label.
At the
Coliseum. And it's the blackest crowd shots you've ever... Literally, Hype Williams said, this is the blackest shit I've ever seen.
That's incredible.
And it culminates with Isaac Hayes with the metal...
Yeah, wearing a gold chainmail vest. The best part of which he pulls up to the stage in the middle of the Coliseum in a fucking station wagon.
That's awesome.
It's the crazy... And also Ted Land from The Love Boat talks a lot of shit about white people. It's really satisfying.
This is the best sub digression I've ever heard.
Thank you.
And I think we should stay on this.
Okay, so...
Let's not go back to you at all.
Okay, so that's all I wanted for Menace. It comes out, it makes a shitload of money.
Yeah.
Correct? What does that do to your ego?
You know what's funny is it did come out. It was quite the sensation, and we were lucky because, by the way, when we were editing it, it was a piece of shit. And I'm not gonna.
Was there voiceover written into the script, or was that
written in? But it wasn't effective when we were editing. There's a lot of it. I won't go into details. It wasn't working. And at one point, my brother. I'm gonna tell a story I've never told before.
Go.
My brother just he's had enough at a certain point, so he kind of goes on a little sabbatical. And I would drive into work every day. I put a washcloth in my passenger seat while I was driving because I would know when I was going to cry on the way into editing. Because sometimes I just break down and cry. That's how bad the movie was.
Woof.
Been there?
Like you feel toxicity in every pore of your body.
You literally, you think you're going to die.
Oh, yeah, you're like...
When you see a first cut that doesn't work, you literally, your first instinct... The first time I saw Half-Baked, I swear to God, I cried.
This is
That's terrifying.
The most relatable podcast we've ever
Thank
done.
you very
to
much.
the listeners at home.
Just so people know. No, I was... You go from that to... It's a lesson in if you keep... Whether it's comedy, whether it's writing, if you keep at it, and you keep revising something this generation doesn't know anything about. The first fucking drafts of everything.
Yeah.
You keep revising. At some point, rhythms will start. And then you'll see things happening in a Menace and the editing. It was like, there was this 20-minute block of, it was just happening. And it was like, oh, shit.
That 20 minutes works, so let's build from there.
There. And you find it is like comedy. You start practicing your set and you start building on things that are working.
Would you show it to people?
No.
Because I always find that that's helpful when you show somebody a cut.
Well, we would show the
shit you want to fast forward through is like, maybe just edit that out.
Yeah. No, we would show sequences.
Yeah, the ones you liked. Like the poker game, shit like that.
When's the last time you saw the film?
Man. The whole film?
Yeah.
Maybe in 94 and 95.
Is it like watching yourself on film, watching a movie that you've directed? Like it's uncomfortable?
The film?
Yeah. But it's uncomfortable to watch. Yeah. But I'm saying, is it the same thing if you've made the film?
I'd say it's like seeing a picture of yourself from high school.
Right.
Having said that...
Having sex with your 14-year-old girlfriend, that's what it's like.
Oh, that's
But also...
Yeah, like a videotape of you.
Yeah.
I did that one. I want to talk about that.
Please.
Yeah, but it's a good movie.
I learned a lesson.
Say what you want about Menace. It's a fucking good movie. And it's... The thing I was going to say is, do you ever look back and go like, fucking, we were precocious ass motherfuckers, man?
Now, Chris Rock... we met Chris Rock when we were 19 and my man Nelson George the same day. And Nelson's like a crazy uncle, and Chris has been like a, I don't know, interesting brother, you know. And so they met us before the movie, and I apologized to them recently. I said, "Man, we were some shit talking about. How did you guys bear? How did you guys?" Because I didn't realize how outspoken and nuts we were, and they were like, "Well, you guys were, we dealt with it because there was some talent there. You guys were talented." And I go, "Oh, I was actually apologizing in hindsight, going, wow." But no, we were just, my mother was a very outspoken, radical feminist, so that was normal. It was just normal.
By the way, your dad was black and your mother was Armenian.
My dad was black, mother Armenian.
And your mother raised you?
My mother raised me.
Where'd you grow up?
Detroit and Pomona.
In bad neighborhoods?
Bad neighborhoods, yeah. But no gangbanging or crack dealing. So, to answer your question, when it did come out, it didn't go to our heads.
Because you were already cocky as fuck.
We're twins. My brother hit me with that like 5 years ago. We were twins our whole life, obviously. So the bus driver to school would make us his little pet project and bring Snickers for us.
Right.
Maybe he was trying to molest us. I don't know. But
throughout
our adolescence, when you're twins and you have afros, like, oh, they're twins, and they give you treats. You're a freak.
Right.
So we have been treated like that, and I didn't realize that my brother hit me to that our whole lives. We were kind of a sideshow act.
That's interesting.
We have been getting.
It's not that unexpected.
Listen, they were putting us in plays when we were 5 years old just because we were twins. We sucked ass. We just didn't. We were not great performers.
Right.
And they would just stick us in there with bow ties on the end. And
it sounds adorable from where I'm sitting. I'm thinking about it right now.
Okay, so that period of time, Moshe, I'm about to talk about somebody from Oakland.
Oh, I can't wait.
Excited?
That's where we started our career. Though.
Is that right?
Go. Talk about it.
In Oakland, the first music video we did was with Digital Underground.
Oh, cool.
For a group. Tupac was in the video, too, called Raw Fusion. and it was shot in Oakland. It was really a good video actually. And then we went back to do 2 short videos, and
He's been on the show.
So our first 3-4 videos and our paychecks came out of.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Okay, so and talk about Pac. I know you talked about it on the Wake Up Show. I'm assuming most of our listeners didn't hear it.
You talking about the Sway one?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys need to tune into that because I'm not telling. That's the only time I told that whole story.
Right. Well, you told me some of the story.
This will be the second time. That sounds great.
Give me some. You got some coke?
Yeah, we have Coke, but you can't have it until you tell the story and tell it well.
Cocaine. I'm gonna need some bump breaks.
So then Pac come out. I'm like, Pac, get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
No, basically you were friends with Pac.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what you told me, and then you can corroborate it or not.
More interesting.
Okay, you told me that you were friends with Pac and you directed his videos, and you were friendly with him. You picked him up at the airport at Burbank. Pick up your mic and talk it out.
I think I talked about this on the Sway in the morning.
Yeah.
Who I love Sway. I'm not.
Yeah.
It's from Oakland.
Yeah, so it's cool.
So Tupac was a dear friend at the time, and he was the guy that saw the music video we did. He saw our short films, and he was like, I want you guys to do my first music video. Now, we didn't even know he signed to a label. So we became friends before his first album came out, and he was a really, really funny guy. Probably one of the funniest guys I ever met at the time.
Right.
So whenever he'd come to town, we'd pick him up at Burbank Airport. I think Oakland to Burbank was the thing at the time. And
$89. It was a great flight.
And one time, I think this is 2 music videos in, after we did Brenda's Got a Baby, he was coming in and do the 3rd video.
Did you do Brenda's Got a Baby?
Yeah, that was
it's a great video.
Thank you. Oakland.
Yeah.
There's a story behind that one too. In fact, we did Brenda's Got a Baby, which was the second Tupac video, and it was the reason why New Line grew.
That I gotta say, shout out to Oakland. What a beautiful abandoned parking lot.
True.
Guys, just a real. It kind of looks like a pool, but or an aqueduct.
Where you came out?
Where you shot the chorus where
I was from that pool. I grew up in that pool.
No, that fucking parking lot maybe that's Keep Your Head Up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Yeah.
No, that shit right there is in downtown LA.
No, that looks like downtown LA. Yeah, Keep Your Head Up. Sorry, my fault.
Fuck that is.
Yeah, all right.
No, Brenda's Got a Baby without that, we wouldn't have got Menace greenlit.
That's
was
fascinating.
The one piece that Bob Shea saw. Anyway, so I pick him up one day after that music video. We're already, our relationship's a little rocky at the time.
How come?
Just from working together?
He had started getting heat, and on the second video, Brendan's Got a Baby, he just was getting, I don't know, emotional at weird times. So what we did was we plotted the video where he'd only have to shoot 2 hours. And then back then, it was such a great story. We shot the whole video without him. But those 2 hours were. By the way, anything you see on Tupac these days when they do retrospectives, 90% of the images they cull from that video. And it was only 2 hours we shot with him.
Right.
The rest of the
yeah.
Anyway, pick him up Burbank Airport, him and his brother, go to Paramount one day. They're setting up a screening for Tupac to see a movie. We don't know what movie. Turns out it's Juice. I'm sitting right next to him watching the movie. I thought it was a pretty good movie. I know he was actually amazing in the movie. At the time, he had one tattoo of this Egyptian pharaoh. It said Tupac on his chest. The moment he walked out of there, he was never the same.
What happened in your mind?
I think a few things.
Ego?
Only recently I've discovered the latter of my thoughts about that. I think, first of all, the silver screen, it's overwhelming. If you see your name up there, let alone your face, there's nothing like it, I think it crystallized for him like what his future was and how he could become famous and what he could do well. And he saw that even right down to the final act of dying. I think he saw everything right there. I think he saw his ticket to becoming this mythical figure he wanted to be. I think he felt it. I don't think it was an intellectual thing. I think he felt it so instantly. I'm talking about the week after. There's tattoos. gang members. You know, he was switching sets a lot too. He would.
So you're saying before that Juice thing, he was more of a digital underground guy, like more
fun.
Jovial.
He was fun, man, and I mean, funny as fuck. He was the best at snapping too.
Because that is the thing about Tupac, is he's this mysterious dichotomy between like this sort of silly guy, and then all of a sudden he's like, you can't tell, is he a gangster or is he a nice guy?
He's
like
a silly guy.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a very sweet man, you know, young man. But I think his talents were more in humor and shit talking. Mm-hmm. That's why but he was a consummate actor. So when he became the Thug, when you listen to the track, and here's an interesting little tale. I had a label deal with Interscope with Jimmy Iovine, who obviously Tupac was on that label. I was very close to Jimmy, and I was in his office when he played me "Hit 'Em Up," where he talked about Biggie and his wife and all that bullshit. And the thing about Tupac is, he probably was one of the best shit talkers, you know, ever. You know, one of the top 10 shit talkers of all time. I heard that track and I said, not only did he talk shit and name names, but he did it well. And I said to Jimmy Iovine, I said, he's going to be dead within 6 months. And he's like, why? Why do you think that? Why?
He's too good. He's too good at shit talking.
He crossed the line. There was a hip hop. It was a moment in hip hop where a line had been crossed.
Right.
And not only crossed well.
Yeah.
It was done well.
Yeah.
And I knew right then when I told Jimmy, I said, he won't make it 6 more months. And between what I was getting ready to tell you, him going from every 2 months, he would switch sets, whether it was with the Rolling 60s or the Bloods or some gang in Houston.
And they were all Bloods, or he switched Bloods and Crips,
whichever fit where he was at the time. He was part of that gang. That's just called a Transformer.
That's hilarious.
And that's going to get you killed alone.
Right.
So he had already been, whether through Oakland, Baltimore, New York, and L.A., he had already been through 10 gangs, being affiliated with 10 gangs by the time Hit 'Em Up came out.
Right.
You know, so
there were guys like, well, we would have protected you, but you're not with us anymore.
So
you quit, Tupac. We loved you.
We're our enemy.
We loved you.
Oh, guess what, guys? We've got another sponsor for this episode.
We're taking a break right now to let you know that we're also sponsored. Yeah, we're fucking double dipping, y'all.
We're trying to get
we're
paid,
a popular-ass podcast, guys.
We've been doing this for free for a long time, and now that Doug's gone, we're trying to get that money. So listen, we're also brought to you by Audible.com.
We fuck with regular books. We also fuck with audio books.
Right. Let's say you're illiterate, but you love literature. What are you going to do?
You're in a tough spot.
It's a hard thing.
But you go on. Audiobooks are the shit, particularly if you drive a lot, which I'm assuming you do. That's why you listen to a podcast. You're going to log on to audiblepodcast.com/thechamps.
And you get a free download of
You get a free download of a book.
You got any suggestions this week?
I always suggest Tina's book, Tina Fey's book, Mindy Kaling's book.
I got some new ones.
Yeah, Larry Wilmore has a book on there. He's
cool.
a Champs guest.
Past champ, Larry Wilmore. I have been reading Stephen King's The Dome. I think it's very good, and it's about to come out on a TV show on CBS. That was fun. There's also a book called Gone Girl that people are talking about. Lots of fun. And I also recently, a friend of mine, and a really interesting book. It's called Sex at Dawn. It's about,
you love that book. You've talked
really
about that book. That's about which I'm into. It's about it's about cave pussy.
It's about that old cave pussy and whether or not monogamy is natural for human beings. So all of those
based on cave times. That's where you learn that women make loud orgasms to signal to the rest of the village. Correct.
Exactly.
Yes.
Also, my friend DC Pearson has a book out called Crap Kingdom. A funny guy and worth a download. And of course, there's always Kasher in the Rye.
Of course.
Y'all, get that book, man.
I've been reading this book called Present Shock by Doug Rushkoff, which is about just how awful all this technology is.
The point is, guys, speaking of technology and how awful it is, you can go to audiblepodcast.com/thechamps and get a free copy of an audiobook of your choice and then fuck with it. Thank you for fucking with us.
You fuck with us now. Back to our regular annual program. And then Tupac was going to be in Menace. Yeah. You told me a story about the rehearsal, which was interesting.
Yeah. What did I tell you?
You told me the story that he was fucking around a lot. He was going to play the Muslim in
He
Menace.
only wanted to play a secondary character, yeah.
You also told me something interesting, which is him and John Singleton had hooked up. Yeah. And he was like, I'm only making movies with John. Like, tell me that's...
Yeah, Pac was always, I don't even say Pac. Let me say Tupac. That's like the guys, Pac had.
Right.
That's your way of saying I know. Like,
Yeah.
you say,
Bob De Niro.
Bob at the
Yeah.
time. So Tupac at the time, he was always looking for this father figure. So he would make someone into his daddy. So at the time, you can imagine making John Singleton into your daddy. I'm sorry. So we're like at Shutters somewhere where he's doing prep on Juice. It wasn't Shutters though. It was the other Lowell's over there. It doesn't matter where the fuck it was.
Right.
And he's in the room with us. And there's two things going on. We're getting ready to shoot his third video where he's telling us, like, look, I want to be a white man in this video. And it's called When My Homies Call. Horrible video because it's a long story. So I'm like in this hotel room with him, trying to get him to sign up to Menace Society, which he's already agreed to. And he goes, so when we shoot this video next week, I want to be a white man. And we're like, well, it's called When My Homies Call. It's a serious song. He goes, I want to be white. I want to be white. I want to be a white man. I said, well, can you let us on it? And he
Is there any more information than that?
He was dead serious. You know?
Meeting over.
Then he said,
Thank you for coming in. Goodbye.
meeting was over when they told me who his daddy was. He said, you know, I'm only doing movies with John Singleton now as a star, and you know, it's gonna be like Scorsese and De Niro. So this fits perfectly. Me playing this Muslim. Just want you guys to know. We're like, whoa. End the story.
Yeah.
End the story. You know.
And then
John was in that video. I mean, he actually showed up.
And all right, so then that was for Poetic Justice. They were prepping for Poetic
then
Justice.
He had a fallout with John. It's interesting what happened.
But no, tell me about the rehearsals with Tupac in
he just
Menace.
was coming in every day. In fact, I thought about today. Like, it would be something as random as when the makeup artist came in to look at everyone while we were rehearsing, he would say, I don't wear no motherfucking makeup. Then he'd get up and make a deal about, like he just got stabbed. He would run around the room screaming, I don't wear no motherfucking makeup. I ain't put it, like, I want...
Yeah.
He didn't
I could see him jumping up and down
jumping
right
up
now,
and
do it in my
As
mind's
long
eye.
as if there's a few people in the room, he's gonna. That was a point where he's gonna start. It just had to be an audience, especially because Jada was there.
Right.
So
They
it
went
was
to
like-
school
it was
together.
like that. So 2 days in a row, he was being, you know, I don't know what.
Like you said, disruptive. Like he was just being disruptive to the point where it was impossible to do rehearsal.
And everyone was laughing, the whole cast.
Right.
And I was like, wow, they're not helping. So
They're like laughing at him.
They're laughing.
No, they're laughing with it. It was
They're
funny.
laughing with it. It's amusing because he is very entertaining, you know. And you get caught up. Like, he'll get you caught up in his bullshit.
Hey, he's fucking Tupac.
Right.
You
Yeah.
look like Tupac. Hey, what are you gonna do?
It's a movement. It becomes a movement.
Yeah, exactly. People got they sell.
Tupac, but hey, call me Pac.
Yeah.
Call me Pop. So somehow, and that's a longer story, how that second session ended with me in the office with him.
No. Tell that story. That's what I want to hear because that's fucking really interesting.
Did I say that in another show?
Yes. No, I don't know if you told me this story. I
I
think
said it on another show. I wish I could articulate today, but I'm not very good at it.
Here's what you told me. You said that you told Jada and Lorenz, don't laugh at Tupac
The
today.
third time he came.
Yeah, because you're fucking up rehearsal.
Yeah. And they listened. So the third time, it was everyone, but the ones that we know. Third time he shows up to the day he shows up to rehearsal, no one's laughing. And he trips out. I don't think he's ever experienced this. And he said something to me that provoked us to go into my office alone. So we went to my office. I sat down behind the desk, which I never do. And he's just going nuts, just talking shit, cursing me out, pacing back and forth.
On what? On you're disrespecting me kind of thing?
You told them not to laugh?
I don't even know what the fuck he was talking about. You know, he's just
Yeah.
creating shit. And
I don't wear no motherfucking makeup. Type shit.
Once again,
Yes.
in case you thought that I changed my policy, I still I do not wear any motherfucking makeup.
So what happens with me, and I'm not no fighting dude, as I said in the other show. I'm not a fighter. I'm not going to claim I'm a fighter or whatever. I start smiling before violence happens too, and I'm going to be involved in it. Sometimes I have a nervous smile.
You're smiling right now, though. I don't like that. All right.
Get back, and Tupac says, he runs up on me and says, "What the fuck are you smiling at?" And that was at that point I stood up. I don't know what I said. I said, "Let's go. Let's just start swinging." Whatever it was I said. I didn't say it like that though. And he literally ran to the door, turned around, said, "Call my manager." Ran out.
Shut the fuck up. And thus, a image was shattered.
No, that's what I know. That's what because people mythologize Tupac, and it was like I used to see the dude. He was 5'6", 5. Like he wasn't a big dude. Yeah, so
that's hilarious.
Yeah, and then he was a sweet guy,
and he quit the movie, right?
No, we fired. I'll tell you what happened. I'll keep it short.
Yeah, you don't have to keep it short. We got time.
Program.
It really is gonna be 2 hours. Yeah.
Still telling great stories.
If I was on today, you guys would be in trouble. So what happened was he had a contract for $300,000 for 3 weeks worth of work, so $100,000 a week, unheard of for a rapper at the time, even
right on your movie,
on the movie. And he's what triggered the green light. We have to get a platinum selling artist to trigger the green light. Now watch how Oakland comes back full function.
Man, you're just speaking my language.
So always a Too Short fan, by the way. Always a Too Short fan. Most slept on rapper at the time, going platinum, no one knew. Long story short, long story long, I called Tupac that night after he ran out of the room. And I said, "Look, man," and he's just going nuts. "Call my manager. I'm not talking to you." I said, "Listen," I said, "I'm directing the movie. We start shooting in 6 weeks. If I can't communicate with you, you got to go, man." And he hung up on me. So I called his manager, Atron Gregory, which was the manager of Digital Underground. "Tupac feels this," and Tupac. I said, "I don't really give a fuck what Tupac feels. If we don't communicate, that's a wrap." And we got off the phone. I went that night to the premiere of Glengarry Glen Ross.
Sure.
A New Line movie where Mike DeLuca, the president of New Line, and Bob Shea, the chairman of New Line, were there. I had the contract. I still have the contract, a $300,000 contract. Got them out of the premiere, walked them into the lobby and says, "We got to fire Tupac." I said, "We got to fire Tupac." They said, "Why?" And I told them why. And then I pulled Too Short out of my back pocket and said, "He's a platinum artist." They don't even know who the fuck Too Short is. Yeah, "He's a platinum artist." They go, "Okay, let's fire him." Wow. I explained to him what had happened there.
I love that this is at the premiere of Glengarry Glen Ross.
Director's Guild right here.
No, yeah, I know, but I love that that's like a scene from Glengarry Glen Ross. Like, Tupac's got the good leads.
Always be closer.
Tupac has the Too Short has the Glengarry leads, and we got to hire him. That's so funny.
And here's the thing. I mean, I don't know who listens to the show. Too Short actually had 3 bona fide separate albums. And really was a platinum.
No, Too Short's been on the show, and he was fucking great.
His first 10 albums, people don't like. His first 8 went platinum. Tupac wasn't really a platinum artist.
Oh, you're saying at that moment in time,
Too Short was bigger.
Outsold Tupac.
Oh yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, and then you fought him. That's a whole nother thing.
That wasn't a fight. That wasn't me and him fighting. That was, and I'll keep it that real short. That was him giving weed and alcohol to a bunch of Crips who jumped me. That was never me and him.
Wait, he gave them weed to jump you?
No, he provided the social lubricants
that would enable a jumping environment.
Enable them to beat up someone they have no beef with. At his behest. Is that the way to put it?
Right.
So you've gotten beaten up by a group of Crips.
Yeah, that's a scar.
That's a great thing to be able to say.
It's a trip.
You know,
at Tupac's behest.
I missed the most important.
Yeah, no, like it's someone just gonna beat up by a bunch of Crips. Like you got, even if you don't direct Menace, that's going on your tombstone.
Right.
Fucking guy got beat up by a bunch of Crips at Tupac's behest.
That title.
I did.
And then they ended up suing you. Did he beat up both of you or just you? Or did they beat up?
You kept saying
yeah. No, I know. Tell the story of him hitting you. Just tell the story. Tell the fucking story.
It's actually classic because I'm trying to tell a short version. I pull up to a music video set. We're not directing a music video, but it's for the soundtrack of Menace. And my brother's with me, and my best friend, the guy whose brother wrote the movie. And there's like about 10 guys and Tupac. I get out of the Jeep, and Tupac comes and traps me kind of in the doorway. And he asked me, "Why did I blah, 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 blah?" And I would answer everyone with every question he had with a very truthful, honest answer. And he would look at me like, "Damn, he's right." And then it'd be somebody, "Punch him in the mouth, punch him in." At that point, it's reaching fever. They got me all boxed in. And they've got Tupac amped to jump me. So he'd ask me another question, And I would answer it honestly and truthfully. And you could just see him like, damn, he's right. He knew I was right, you know?
And this is he's yelling at you about the Menace stuff.
He's yelling about the Menace stuff. But he knows I'm right. And so it was the third question he asked me, or a third thing he tried to whatever. By that time, it was 5 guys. And they were like spitting on the back of his neck, talking so loud, like, punch him in the, kick him in the, you know? And I weaseled my way out of that jam I was in. I started walking away. You know, at that point, you're like, I've never been in this position in my life. I thought someone was going to die. And then I'm walking across the street. My back is to all of them now. And I feel what feels like a Nerf ball hit my head. I was like, what the fuck? Why was somebody...
Why now, of all times, would someone throw a Nerf football at me?
It was the equivalent of a Nerf ball hitting my head. And I turn around. It was actually Tupac who threw a sucker punch. And I'm giggling. I'm actually giggling like, yo. I mean, there's 3 things happening.
Gangster hero.
There's 3 things happening here. You threw a sucker punch that felt like a Nerf ball. 1. 2, and the biggest thing, you threw a sucker punch in the streets. And 3, even bigger than that, you threw a sucker punch in front of a bunch of Crips, which I thought was a big deal. You know, I'm bugging that he did it. And before I knew it, somehow I had him by his crotch and I think it was his t-shirt, and we're on the other side of the street. And he's on top of the truck.
You lifted him up and threw him on top of a truck.
It was just like
a
quick whatever the fuck. I just remember seeing him over me, which no one believes.
Right, yeah.
I remember seeing him over me, and I remember him hitting the truck, and I remember me lifting my fist up like a movie and then getting sucked into a vortex. So long story long again, then it's like a fucking scene out of Raging Bull with 10 Sugar Ray Robinsons just...
Yeah.
Blood's going everywhere. I just feel my body moving. I don't feel anything. I just remember being hunched over.
Is it hurting?
No. I was shocked, you know. I've been in fights, several fights, but I've never been hit in the face before.
Right.
I've never been hit in the face before. And everything else, too, you know. And you can just feel your body moving, but you're not feeling it. And you see blood, and you're like, it's surreal. So they get off me, and my friend is fighting, and, you know, and they get off me finally. And Tupac's about, 15 feet away. And he says to them, he says, go get my chains. Go get my chains. And I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? And I'm slumped over like this, and I had all his jewelry in my hands. And that was, this is a story. I don't want to take the mystique or myth away from Tupac, but everybody's a human being.
Too late.
He was over there. I was a bloody pulp, and he sent the dude to get his chains out of my hands.
Which you had ripped out in the skirmish.
In the skirmish, whatever. Whether he was over my head or parallel to my chest does not matter.
Right. And then you ended up suing Tupac, which surprised people. But what I would say to Tupac is he forgets you sued Tupac and the Crips. You are half black you're half Armenian. Right. You can't get into a scrape in a parking lot. You can't sideswipe an Armenian's car without getting sued for...
That's the Chappelle Show version. Let me tell you what... Let me tell you what really happened.
Okay.
I said, through an emissary, I said, have him meet me at the park, and we can settle this. 3 times I sent that.
You wanted to just with hands. You wanted to fight. You just box it out.
Me and you, let's just settle it. Whether you even want to talk your way out of it. Oh, you got one of those joints. Whether you want to talk yourself out of it. I just wanted to meet man on man. 3 times I attempted that.
Now, let me ask you this, though. Why would he have done it? You've now lifted him above your head, ripped all of his chains off. He knows you're going to win in the mano-a-mano.
You know what? I think he knew, too, is like me. I just wanted to. Like, just settle. Let's just settle this if we have to come to blows. So I remember that he was on MTV bragging about premeditating the beatdown and the whole show.
On Yo MTV Raps, and I saw it.
Yeah. Oh, hilarious.
So I knew that. So I took him to court, and I knew I had that in my pocket, and it was a wrap. He got convicted. But he would say this: the streets don't go to the courts. Those motherfuckers took me to court. We don't do that in the streets. Blah, 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 blah. What happened when he got shot 5 times? Ran right to the cops.
Right. Also, you tried to handle on some street shit, and he said no.
All right, now look. What's that? The great
performer. I just want to say, and I do want to say this. I'm not disparaging Tupac. He's a human being.
Yeah, that's what I've always tried to say that on the show. It's just a human being. Like all these people got murals of the dude, and it's just like he was just a dude who was a good rapper.
Our streets, man.
Yeah, no, I get that.
You got in the black grandma's wall now. You got JFK, MLK, and Tupac.
TUP.
Just some dude. Just some dude you knew.
Speaking of the streets.
And again, great performer, icon, fucking funny, great rapper,
pretty eyes,
beautiful eyelashes,
all that shit. For real.
Yeah,
I believe that.
Speaking of the streets, American Pimp.
Yeah, my favorite.
You directed with your brother, which people don't know.
Film that you've made. Why?
Because to your question earlier, it's the only one I can step back from. It doesn't feel like we were. It's them.
Because it's them talking the whole time.
Them,
right.
It's just a mixtape.
Right.
For
sure.
Mixtape. You know, you could turn that thing and just turn the audio on. The little known thing about that documentary is we could not show people pimping. We couldn't show them pimping because it'd be a federal case. I mean, just that simple. So it's essentially a talking heads documentary.
Interesting.
You know, might as well be Fog of War. You know, it's just It's just a talking head documentary.
Do you know who my favorite pimp was? Can you guess? I think it's pretty easy.
I wish it was my favorite pimp, but I doubt it was.
Yours is
Who was yours?
No, fuck no.
That's hacky.
The one thing I want to shoot myself for is introducing him.
The world.
Really?
Hilarious.
Wow.
You know who it is.
Tell me.
It's Mr. White Folks.
Oh, hilarious.
Yeah, of course it is.
But White Folks, we didn't really deal with him. That was the bastard documentary that fucked with White Folks.
No, what's the story there? Your DP stole all your connections?
My location scout and best fishing buddy from New York, Brent Owens, from the location scout from Dead Presidents, knew we were, because he did Hookers at the Point for HBO, but he had culled this footage over 20 years of tricking. He was a trick, so he had...
that's
what do you mean? He was
a trick who used to go to the point to get hookers.
Yeah. So he had all this videotape shit from the 80s. So when Sheila Nevin's at HBO...
That's the one about Hunts Point in the Bronx?
Oh, there you go. And he's my good... He's the guy who picks me up every time I come to New York, you know, introduces me to the New York fishing game, Montauk, all this stuff, but he's from the Bronx. Sheila Nevin...
Half Armenian, folks. Half Armenian.
They all fish. I mean, what are you going to do?
Again... The documentary was actually decent. That Hookers the Point. He was in the hose. We started making this pimp documentary, and then he vanished. I couldn't find him. I talked to him every week, and I showed up to the Pimp Ball, Players Ball in Chicago that year, the Academy Awards of Pimping. I show up, and there he is with a camera. We brought Ice-T, and Ice-T's in that shitty documentary.
What's the shitty one?
Pimps Up, Hoes Down.
Oh. And so who was your favorite from your film?
His name was Bradley. He didn't have a funny name.
Yours would have been... You think yours would have been twice as good or twice as important had Pimps Up, Hoes Down not... had your boy not made...
They took the air out of like, American Pimp became a cult film.
Right.
And we had offers. This is how crazy it is. From the Weinstein Company, from Polygram Pictures at the time, from Sony, whatever. 10 minutes of Super 8 footage of Rosebud. We were getting $2.5, $3.5 million offers to pick up the film at that point.
Rosebud being one of the pimps?
Rosebud was one of the pimps. He was the first one we shot, yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen the movie in a long time.
I remember. Rosebud was, he was like I was going to say he's very charismatic, but I guess they're all very charismatic.
He was very almost like excessively, like I don't know how to explain.
What do you make of pimps? Because as a guy, you're like, yeah, cool. We all mythologize pimps, but it's like they're sexual slave masters. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's not cool. Ultimately, like as cool as it is, there's part of me that thinks it's super cool, and there's part of me that's like they're horrible.
You know what I think about pimps? I instantly default to the man that molested the women. Fuck the pimps. Well, it was the father or the uncle or the guy in the neighborhood. That's who I think about. I go, it ain't the pimps. The pimps reap the benefits of the child molester.
He's a symptom.
Yeah, that's all it is. Because let me tell you, few people talk about it. 9 out of 10 whores have been molested.
Right.
That's the bottom line.
I'd say even more than that.
More than 9 out of 10.
9.5 points.
You can't really get a lot more.
9 out of 10. I think they've all been molested. No,
Every single one.
This is a good debate. Have it.
Yeah.
We only have debates.
Yeah, I believe all there's no. I'll say street hookers.
Street hookers.
There's
Street
not
hookers.
a single one that wasn't molested.
I think that seems excessive. I'm sure that
There's no way to prove it.
I'm sure that, well, we can go to the streets. We can take it to the streets, as we always do on this show. No, I mean, I'm sure that somebody just got addicted. We're talking street hookers. No, if we're talking hookers in general, I know for
Hookers
sure.
in general.
What he's saying.
Yeah.
But they just got addicted
And
to crack.
massage women all were massaged as young women. They all received massages from
Can
their
I say
uncles.
something really that's going to get me in trouble?
Yeah.
And I'm going to underscore this by saying North American actresses.
Okay. I already love this. Go
I
ahead.
think me and you talked about this. And I'm not saying all, but we can.
But 9 out of 10.
Yeah, not even 9 out of 10. North American actresses, not the ones. Let's just talk about. Are one bus stop, Greyhound bus stop station, or one best friend away from being a prostitute.
That is something that will get you in trouble. Yeah.
I mean, that's
I'm not saying. Listen, I didn't say all. I said you have to look at this. And I'm in America.
yeah.
A girl in Kansas City.
So we're not talking about Juliette Binoche.
No.
We're not talking about
No. In America.
That Amelie chick.
No.
No.
We're not talking about. Keep going.
Meryl Streep.
No, Meryl Streep came up at a time where, theater was big and being a
Right.
real actress was
So
big.
you're talking about I know what you mean.
Hot chick.
Yeah.
You're talking about just most girls, most actresses. It's from a crazy place.
They want to be famous.
Yeah.
They don't
Oh, you're talking about not girls that want to be actresses. You're talking about girls that want to be famous.
I'm saying most girls that come to Hollywood come here to be famous.
Uh-huh.
They're not like I'm trying to be a strapper on Avon right now. That's
Well, that's what I always say. It's like, you want to be an actress? Go. Here's a play. Just go do it with your friends.
Right.
If you're just like, I want to be an actress, I love acting.
Yeah.
You can act. Nobody has to see it. Why do people have to see it? If you're that committed to acting, it's
Well, the
like,
same could be said to you guys. I mean,
I agree.
The same way, go direct it.
I'm not one Greyhound bus station away from.
No, he's 3. He's easily 3.
My mouth.
Yeah, and also
Easily
his
3.
also
Three
his
bus stops.
also his brother got molested. He did not.
Oh, that's great.
There you go. Bingo.
Wait, this is
But I would admit to wanting to be famous in some way.
right.
Then you can suck a dick.
No, I wouldn't.
By the way, I don't have a problem with dick sucking. We there's a place for that.
It's the mouth, right?
And the place is the mouth, and,
only go in the mouth.
and the second, and the other place is my car. But I'm with you. There is it's from a damaged place.
Don't lift the part that sounds disparaging.
No, it's the whole
man.
part. It's like comedians. It's like trouble people.
Yeah, I mean, comedians, I would say
That's
it's.
not what I'm saying.
I'm saying North American actors.
Okay, so
Comedians
that
are trouble people. Though.
that-
How about that new Richard Pryor documentary? I was a lot.
Not into it.
Listen. This man probably knows more. I don't know you yet, but I'm getting.
you're getting a sense of them.
Feeling that.
You're
though.
feeling it? I'm feeling it
I'm
back.
a Richard Pryor junkie, as is most comedians,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at that piece because we were going to do a documentary on him and met with him. And I used to do stand-up comedy, which I never admit. And wow, that doc just didn't do him any justice, man. It just glazed over.
But you want to talk about
Does
a
anybody
human
hearing-
being.
Does any hearing?
No.
but same thing, human being.
Oh yeah,
And
Nobody thinks he wasn't a human being. I mean, he was
right, but
his,
this was
his films were.
this focused on his dark humanity. I've never having read Pryor's book, Prior Convictions.
no, that was interesting.
Richard Pryor's an unbelievable comedian.
Mm-hmm.
He's a fucking dickhead.
Oh, no doubt.
He's a fucking
doubt.
dickhead.
Well, I
and
love about
the
that-
documentary was just going, here's a documentary about a dickhead.
I love this part though when they said he wasn't an addict; he was a stone cold junkie, and that summarized everything.
Yeah. So just imagine a junkie. Think about it's like imagine if Lindsay Lohan was an unbelievable comic.
And not an unbelievable actor?
Yeah, because her acting window was so small. It's like, imagine if Lindsay was fucking off the charts, reinvented stand-up comedy and did it in a way that people still talk about. You know what I mean? Like,
it's very interesting.
That's what I was.
Very interesting. You come back to he was just a man. It's very interesting.
Yeah,
but if you know, it's like when you watch the documentary. These are obvious things, but the Jack Johnson one, I can't remember.
Unforgivable Blackness.
Yeah. Now, it left me a little bit to be desired. I think it could have been a little edgier, but it was comprehensive.
It was comprehensive. Also, fucking guy rode around. They had a picture of him in front of a convertible with a white woman in a fur.
And he's beating white men's asses in 1920 some and fucking white women and driving at night. You know, it made a point.
Yeah,
and it landed hard. I think that documentary.
Yeah, well, it was great it's great to see. It's great. I mean, Ken Burns makes.
He's the best.
He's unbelievable. Other than Errol Morris, who's the best.
They're both
the best.
Up there, yeah.
But you had you directed Denzel Washington in Book of Eli. Mm-hmm. You had some very funny stories about negotiating with. Because I was talking about if I'm a star, if I'm Denzel Washington, I've done 20 movies. I'm a fucking star. People come to see the movie because I'm in the movie. And you come up, he agrees to do the script, and then you've got direction, and you told me, and I don't know if you want to talk about it, but negotiating with Denzel.
By the way, it's not 20 pictures, it's 38 pictures, and I had to learn the hard way.
How come?
38. Before lunch, one day we're shooting, and Eli's put into a room, and the door shut, and he goes down to his knees and lays down to hear, down the hallway. It was cut out of the movie, but the first thing he does is drop to listen. Then we go to lunch.
This is day one? This is just day whatever?
Probably 5, first week. He drops down to listen outside. We cut the scene. We go to lunch. Come back from lunch. Now, I didn't know this happened. The first AD comes up to Denzel and says, all right, we're going to start down on the floor, Denzel, this, that, and the other. Cool. And the cinematographer says to him, all right, D, we're going to start. You're going to be down on the floor, this, that, and the other. Cool. So I come in 5 minutes later. I'm like, D, so you got to start on the floor and this, that, and the other. He starts walking around the room going, 38, 38, 38. And his son is right here next to me because his son was there for that week. And my brother's over here, and they're both laughing. I'm like, 38? What the fuck is he talking about? And his son looks up and says, 38 films. And I go, oh, okay. Like, he wasn't even going to spell it out to me. He just started walking.
He's just declaring how many movies he's been in, and that he doesn't need to hear this?
Declaring? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, that's
38?
Yeah, no, we were talking about
20.
He's done 30, and he just yelled 38.
It's crazy.
No, that's when you're on set. That's the kind of shit that happens where you just go like, all right, yeah. It's the same thing. Like, I don't wear no makeup. I don't. It's like
it's a riddle. It's a riddle. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
he's not.
It's not even. You have Tupac level shit talking. It's like
no. That's very refined and
insane.
But what's funny is he was talking about blocking the figure. Tell more about that.
Well, it's funny. And I love this about Denzel because I'm similar in this way. And this is where my brother and he were interesting. My brother would go, "This is the shot. Now I need you to be right here in the left corner." And Denzel would go, "The left corner? You need me to be here in the left corner?" And he's like, "Yeah, left corner." So, all right. What if I walk all the way out here to the north corner and go to the right? What about this? And he'll walk over and go to the right and go, what about here? How's that look? And my brother would just be turning red.
Is he doing it because he wants to be involved or because he wants to fuck with you?
He doesn't want to be confined.
Right.
And the one thing, too, and I understand this, you'll go, you'll run up and go, that part where you're almost, you go, don't tell me. Don't tell me, like, if you like, I like when you're getting ready to cry right there or laugh right there. He doesn't want anything to be contrived.
So what's your function?
Who, mine?
Yeah, why are you even there?
Obi-Wan.
As the director, you mean?
Yeah, what's the point of you?
With him, what I love, because every performer is so different, with him, it's your energy. And literally, when I say Obi-Wan, you got to feng shui that shit, and that's the direction. Because certain actors, you want to hear a lot, you want to talk a lot. Certain actors need a sentence. Certain actors want to hear a word. Certain actors just need to see a nod. And with him, it was all energy and body language. And at the end of the day, actors, when you yell cut, they'll all look at you.
Right, even Denzel Washington. Yeah.
When it's a fake, like, heads up.
Yeah. You were saying
let's do one more.
You were saying the thing about where he would want, again, you're Denzel Washington, you don't want to do a lot of takes. Right. Because you're just fucking Denzel Washington. It's like, I had that with Ving Rhames, where Ving Rhames would be like, brother, come on, brother. Yeah. How many I got to do, brother? Uh-huh. And there was a thing where...
Is it because you're lazy or because you want to think...
Because you want to think that you're not... If you're like a great actor, you kind of believe you're not going to need more than 3.
Right. Okay,
I'm used to, like, Chappelle would literally want to do 10.
Yeah. Right. I, as an actor who is not fully established... I always want more.
Yeah.
I want to try it again.
So the reality is, real actors want more, and that's a movie star phenomenon. Or someone like Morgan Freeman or Gene Hackman are similar to Denzel too. When you're Morgan Freeman or a litany of these great British actors, when you're just that good, you're not used to hearing "Let's go again."
Right.
And so you get accustomed to that. Denzel working with Tony Scott, I heard over the years, Tony's direction would be great. Let's move on. So you're a movie star, and you're a movie star. That's a whole different league than being just a character actor.
Absolutely, right. But it's also. I mean, 38 is rude.
When he said that,
that's rude. I mean, you can be like, I got it already.
Is it rude? It's more.
I mean, I like it. I'm not saying I don't like it.
Yeah,
than that.
Exactly. It's the thing about Denzel's got to be great. He's got to be Denzel Washington, all caps, in 5 minutes. 5 minutes from now, he's got to be at the door as Denzel Washington. So he'll say some bravado shit like 38, motherfucker. Yeah. 38.
You're saying to stay in character?
No, to amp himself up.
You know what? Both. He's very... The only thing him and Tupac have in common is when you're sitting in a room with him, it's a different story, one-on-one. When you're out there with him... And he's a social genius, and I never use that word loosely. Genius. He has a persona like any movie star, but his persona has taken on the markings of the Training Day character. And there's always this whole story about that's really Denzel. He finally just said fuck it. That's really Denzel.
Yeah,
that's really Denzel.
Yeah, he said on 60 Minutes.
Interesting.
He goes. He said on 60 Minutes, "You're fucking right. I'm angry." And Ed Bradley was like, "You seem angry, Denzel." He's like, "Yeah, I'm angry."
Why is he angry?
Because he's just fucking an angry. I think I think it's the oldest brother, grew up poor in Harlem, boys club shit.
Theory. I have another theory.
Go.
And I've told his friends and family this. First of all, his mother owned a beauty supply shop in Mount Vernon. So he had good hair his whole life. Good hair. Nice looking boy with good hair. His father was the preacher. So you're not talking about a guy that's had it bad necessarily, right?
Right.
He's seen some things. But imagine being a great actor in 1978, black actor, 1978. You get up on 81, there's this guy, Eddie Murphy. You take the scene right out of Hollywood Shuffle. We need more Murphonic, Murph, this, that, whatever.
What's hilarious, yeah.
So you got a town full of white and Jewish people who don't necessarily get this great black actor at the time.
Let me just say,
thing as a great black actor.
I appreciate you separating out white and Jewish.
Totally, I split white hair.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So it means a lot.
Spoken like a true Armenian. Yeah. Go ahead.
So imagine coming up under the Eddie Murphy era.
Let me insert here. I've seen Eddie talk about Denzel before he was famous. And he goes, we see Denzel at the club. The motherfucker would just be wearing a hat in the corner. He wasn't getting no pussy.
That's a great... Now, there's a great stories in those two. The stories of Eddie Murphy and Denzel, or should I say Denzel, about Eddie Murphy... I'm not going to get into it.
No. What's funny is that's one of those quiet rivalries.
Yes.
They both think each other are amazing, but it's just the other heavyweight champ. It's just the two champs. They're the only two black actors that can get shit greenlit for 15, 20 years. The only two in the world on Earth
You mean with longevity?
Yeah, that have been able to do it for that long.
Denzel too. You think about it too. He's the only he's pulled off an amazing feat. He's a real actor. He's making $20 million a film, and he's black.
Yeah.
Okay, and consistently hits at the bottom. Not huge, but hits the bottom.
But yeah, 110, 120.
There's not one white boy who's ever done that.
Yeah.
That combo pack. Now, Mel Gibson was the closest.
Yeah.
But we see what's happening with Mel.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's why. Have you thought about that? Maybe Mel's involved in this rivalry, and he's just mad about Eddie.
It's a trifling. It's hilarious. No, that is interesting. Yeah, no, there's then you get into box office shit, and it's just like it's just it's a rarefied.
So he's the only one. Eddie Murphy's the only person that Denzel Washington can talk to, and vice versa, and commiserate with on a real.
Yeah.
Fundamental experiential level. I think they're the only two guys that understand one another.
Is Eddie Murphy a box office hit again and again and again?
Eddie Murphy is
for sure.
The between 1993 and 2007 was the number one box office star on planet Earth.
Whoa.
2007?
Yeah.
Rewind.
No.
Go to the obvious.
No, I'm not even talking about 48. I'm talking about, and I know this because I was at his house a month and a half ago, and he had a clipping from USA Today that someone had framed for him. And
you could have just said, I saw a clipping.
No, I know. But why? I'm not going to give you the satisfaction.
White boy Neal, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not going to give you the satisfaction. Biggest box office star on Earth. Because you know what you don't...
Run the years
Shrek. Those are the movies. Yeah, you count Shrek.
Run the years back. What was the window?
You said 93 to 2007.
I said 93 to 2007. I didn't even include trading. I didn't include...
his first part of his career.
85. It should be 85 to 2007.
The first act of his career, which is the most glorious part.
Yeah, 85 to 2007. He's
81.
Beverly Hills Cop came out in 85, I believe.
I got to start from 48 Hours.
Trading Places.
Places, that's not his shit.
No.
Wow, you comedians. Wow, motherfuckers, man.
Yeah.
I mean, last time they made a profitable movie?
I mean,
I'm sorry.
Was it? Come on, dude! I saw. This is the best thing. I was on an airplane, and I was in an aisle seat, and somebody in another aisle seat was watching 1,000 Words, literally in headphones, laughing out loud, slapping her knee like this.
All right, I'll tell you.
No way.
That's how I saw it. Somebody else watching, I didn't hear the words. I'm serious.
I'll tell you. All right, so please. I'll tell you some of this. All right, so me and Chappelle are there 6 weeks ago. We go up. And he's in his bowling alley with his girlfriend bowling. Right. This is Tuesday night.
Now there.
Yep, he has a little nightclub down there. It's 11:30 at night on a Tuesday. So we go up, and it's just him and his girlfriend bowling in his what's a fucking castle. It's a castle, 50,000 square feet.
White girl.
This place called Beverly.
Snowflake alert.
Yeah, it is a white girl. She said something funny.
Oh, he's very successful.
Finally.
She said something funny, though, because Dave says to her, hey, I saw you on the tribute to Eddie. And she goes, yep, and I'm still around. I was like, that's a funny thing to say.
Yeah, I like that.
So we bowl, and Eddie's literally typing our names into the computer so that when we bowl a turkey, the turkey graphic comes up. So then me and Dave start bugging him about stand-up. When are you going to do stand-up? When are you going to do stand-up?
Irony.
Please, and Dave's literally like, we both regress to 12-year-olds. So Dave's like, when are you going to do stand-up? And Dave goes, come on, Eddie. Ronnie did it until he fucking into his 80s. And Eddie goes, Dave, he goes, I'm not Rodney. He goes, I'm with Chaplin and them. And we were both like, and it was, again, it's one of those cocky ass things that you go, you know what? You're 100% right. You are with Chaplin and them.
Do you know how many times Eddie Murphy said that to himself in the mirror?
No, again, you have bad. You see him in a negative light. I'm telling you,
honestly,
he is. But even to bring up his now profitable movies, he's the biggest, one of the longest that amount of money stars probably ever.
I honestly don't. I don't think of it. If I ever sound like I'm being negative, it's only because I'm like disappointed because I'm such a fan.
Yeah, but here's what I'm saying is he's saying I'm with Chaplin.
Right.
We literally are bugging him like, come on, man, please.
That was a showstopper though, and it's true.
Yeah.
And it's true.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I was in that same place you were, but the club was being built at the time.
Okay.
Oh, what a bummer.
And yeah.
Sorry, you had to be there pre-club.
You're in the bowling alley. By the way, he has the painting from the end of Good Times in his bowling
he has
alley.
the actual painting.
The painting.
Ernie Barnes is very tough. To get that is impossible.
He got it from Eddie's words. He got it from Marvin Gaye's sister a week after Marvin kicked.
He's up there with Chaplin.
He's up there with Marvin's up there with James and them.
I see this as like an amusement park. You get the same stories when you get over there.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely.
He said at the time, this is what was surreal for me, because this whole Richard Pryor movie.
Yep.
So Eddie is standing up there.
Were you guys going to direct the Richard Pryor movie at some point?
I was not interested, and then I became interested.
When Eddie got involved, or
somewhere in that weird window. You know? And Eddie I was sitting down, he's standing over me in the party at the time, and he's saying this is why he believes he'd be the best person. He's not pitching me because I don't have the, and he goes on this whole thing about why he believes he should play Richard Pryor. And I'm looking at Eddie Murphy to kind of what we were getting at. I'm like, why the fuck would he even want to play Richard Pryor? He's Eddie Murphy. But to, I guess, this elusive point we're trying to make here, he's Eddie Murphy.
With Chaplin and them.
He's with Chaplin.
Who is doing it? Is it Nick Cannon?
No, they're never going to make that movie.
Who was it? Somebody.
Mike Epps.
Mike Epps.
Oh, Mike Epps, right.
Which seems strange on the surface until you get to know him.
Mike Epps, who hates my guts. Ever told you about that?
No, I did not.
He called me out of the blue one time. We never talked. He shit on me in the press and Dave in the press when Spo in Africa. And he calls me out of the blue to talk about a project. And I go, Mike, I thought you were mad at me, man. And he's like, Neal, man, they just make shit up. I go, Mike, they didn't make shit up. You said that. And we were on the phone. Within 45 seconds, we were screaming at each other.
Really?
It was fucking hilarious to the point where the next time I saw him, if I were black, he would have punched me in the face.
He's hilarious.
You think he gave you a pass because you're white?
Yeah. It was at the Laugh Factory. He would have popped me in the face.
What year?
3 years ago?
Wait, why do you not get punched in the face?
Because he knows I'll sue him. It's like he'll.
Ghetto genius.
Mike Epps is a fucking funny dude, man.
I mean, and I love his whole thing about being retarded. You was retarded when you was little, but you grew out of it, his mother would say, right? And you can see, I'm a latent Mike Epps fan.
Yeah.
He never quite.
No.
He never quite popped.
He was so close.
I think it's interesting because you look at Chappelle, who is I think the best and the brightest out of all the whatever, and who's Chris Rock is Chris Rock. Stand-up wise, and then Kevin Hart, which is Kevin Hart, and who am I forgetting? Oh, Chris Tucker. So you got Chappelle, Chris Tucker, and I gotta tell you, Mike Epps is not in that right now, but there's an elusive gift there.
Well, that's what we were talking about. I was talking to somebody about that like the devil went down to Georgia thing where you got to make if you have one person say one thing to make the devil laugh and save humanity, who do you send?
Oh, that's interesting.
Like, who do you send?
Chris D'Elia.
That's hilarious.
I like that.
No, who do you send? It's like, who do you send?
Tupac? Right, meaning breathing comics today, right now? What do you go around
honor? Who would I send?
Ever.
I'll say ever. And this is... And it's like he can talk to the devil for 40 seconds. Let's say he can do a 40-second bit.
And
who do you send?
Sunday, he can't. This is my vote right here. He's calling right now. It's funny. Funniest man on the earth.
Freeze Love?
This is J Love.
Who's that?
J Love. That's a long story. Funniest man on the planet.
That's hilarious.
A combination of Richard Pryor and Red Fox. But go ahead.
This is a good question.
Because this goes to just someone who can say some funny shit. It's like who can
any day though. On any day.
Any day of the
Not
week.
on his best day.
I would go with Chappelle just because I've seen because we've been in the trenches together and he's come through when I've need. You know what I mean? Like,
Neal, we're going to come back to you.
Because
I got something for you.
Okay, go.
This is hard for me. I'm going to say, do I do someone famous or do I do someone...
Do someone famous. Just
I would say Zach Galifianakis.
Okay.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Do you know him?
Yeah.
You know him well.
And I think he's I'm looking for people, I'm looking for people that are consistently always funny to me.
Yeah, on any given Sunday.
Yeah. So I'm saying Zach or Todd Glass or as an unknown... I would say Todd or Chelsea Peretti. Those are the lesser
Now
famous.
you're getting some comic shit.
I know. Sorry, you're right. But you guys did your directorship for a long time.
I want to hear.
Yeah. I'd put Chelsea on the. I don't know Zach very well or Todd Glass very well.
I don't know you well.
Chelsea's funny motherfucker though.
Okay, what do you got?
No, I'm just saying. Seriously, because I don't know your humor. Zach.
Yes.
Okay, because you know him too.
Sure.
Okay, and Neal.
Yes.
You're not just being political here.
Not at all. Because that's what I was. I don't know what. Maybe I was thinking about. It was a story that Chappelle told me that it was so fucking funny. It was just a thing he said that was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like it was so like funny. Like that's the thing about a guy like Davis. He can get in the zone. He can get in the zone that Chelsea, Zach, those guys can't get in.
I'm not going to use someone like Dave Chappelle because it feels for me like I'm going to do somebody I know.
Well, no. But I'm saying Eddie. You can. So Eddie Murphy, Chelsea Peretti, Chris Rock,
Chris Tucker,
George Carlin, Bill Hicks are all standing there, and you're going to go Chelsea. You're up.
Why would I answer the question boringly? Oh, I would go with Richard Pryor. I'm going to go somebody.
Go with honestly. Who would you? Literally, humanity is at stake.
Elephant hunter, and you got to go.
I'm certainly not going to go with Chris Tucker.
No, but that's just my question.
He's a funny stand-up. I'm just saying.
Chris Tucker's not even on my list.
Snatch him and throw him in front of anyone at any time.
Yes,
that takes Richard Pryor out the game. I think that takes Eddie Murphy out the game.
Why Richard? Why does it take Richard? Why does it take Richard out?
Because he's a fucking junkie.
What about Eddie?
I think Eddie is a very deep, serious person.
Yes.
Who has to be in a system.
Right. Might not say. Yeah. He's
the devil left.
He's a
maybe an 83.
Wait, why am I getting in trouble for picking Zach Galifianakis?
I don't know what he's
pick J Love.
Jay loves it exactly.
I'm just saying we all are picking someone.
Any given no, what it is like you don't. Again, the devil's got a part of him's got a black sense of humor, a white sense of humor.
Now,
it's every crowd.
Now,
every crowd. Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah,
okay.
Say famous. Okay.
Yeah.
So famous.
I put Will Ferrell on my list.
Ferrell is a great choice.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ferrell's a good choice.
I'd put.
A lot of those guys. See, I get real right now. A lot of those guys who are. You're talking about. It's funny. They're all black except for the last two you just mentioned.
Right.
The menu is black.
The menu is pretty black.
Yeah. Because that's the thing about black dudes is they can be and have to be funny. In the middle, you can wake a black guy up in the middle of the night, and he'll say something. No, and he will say something pretty funny. That's just well. No, look at the fucking homeless. Look at the homeless guy who saved the girl. The guy who saved the whole fucking proves my point about black guys on the street being funnier than the average white Canadian.
Anderson.
I would. You know what else I would say? Who I would put on the list? I would put Stephen Wright on the list.
Who?
Stephen Wright.
Stephen Wright in terms of
Yeah.
he could do a short bit.
40 seconds.
40 seconds. No, 40 seconds.
He could do like
he could do 3 hours.
That's good. That's good.
Stephen Wright. That's actually.
And black people fuck with Stephen Wright.
And if God,
Puerto Rican fuck with Stephen Wright. Women fuck with him.
3 of Stephen Wright's favorite jokes without laughing, then he really is a powerful God.
Yeah,
the devil. The devil's gonna win.
Who did you pick?
All I do is look at all those guys. I don't think any of them can make the devil laugh in 40 seconds.
Because you believe in the power of the devil.
I really don't. I don't. And I'm a big Chappelle fan too. And I think even when he's not trying to be funny, he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's more than 40 seconds.
No, I
with the set line. There was a time I would have said Patrice O'Neal.
Absolutely.
I would have said Patrice.
You know Patrice O'Neal?
Yeah.
Put him on the list.
Yeah, he's on the list.
Put him on the devil goes down
He would speak the devil's language too.
That dude is interesting. D-rated.
D-Ray's, yes, D-Ray's a funny motherfucker. In terms of just, and this is a guy.
I've never seen him.
D-Ray's crowd work is fucking lacerating and excellent.
His what?
Crowd work, where you just snap on people.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'd put him on my list.
Neal,
you know who else I put on my list? Charles Barkley. In terms of just saying something fucking funny, like that.
To make the devil laugh?
Yes.
Hughes to society with a number 2. What'd you say?
You know what
Hughes to society, as in Menace to society.
H-U-G-H-E.
Do a search for it before you just follow
society.
it.
And then I'm going to look up Neal. And what is your name?
Moshe Kasher.
Moshe Kasher.
Oh, my Twitter, it's at Moshe Kasher.
I find this really fascinating because I think this shit is retarded.
What, Twitter?
It's fucking, all that shit is retarded.
But you're right. What's all that shit?
Facebook, Tumblr, Instagram.
Yeah.
Everyone feels like they're an artist now and they express themselves. And
Well, you know what it is? Everyone's an art collector.
No, but real talk.
Everyone's like, my taste. Have I told you about
My brand.
my taste?
Seriously, when it comes to social media, honestly, I'm a Chaplin in them. Folks.
Guys, that's an episode of the Champs that people are going to be talking about for a long time. All right, peace, y'all. Good to see Al, thanks for coming, man.
Now you're fucking with the Champs.